been snowing a lot here recently, so we're gonna turn this mower. It's kind of like a snow machine with a couple simple modifications. So, yeah. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna try to put these tires, got a little more tread on them, on here. Yeah. Alright, unfortunately, those tires are not going to fit on them. But, that's okay because I have a plan B. Now, Alright, plan B is let as much air out of the tires as possible. Alright, so now this kind of gets a bunch of snow on it when it's getting like flung by this tire and stuff, which it's not very much, but what we're going to do, we're going to take it and extend the intake so that way it's up here. So I found these pieces of PVC pipe in these right angles, and the air filter will fit on here, I think. Yeah, like that. Alright, so that's good. If this is gonna work, we'll probably paint it, and then this is gonna go like that. So, got this piece of radiator hose. It's kind of long, but I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna, put it on there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, maybe not. I'm gonna put it on, the little piece right there, and then I'm gonna put it on here. But I'm gonna cut just the very end off, so that way we don't have the whole, the whole giant hose. That would look a little ridiculous. So anyway, all right, I got the very end cut off, and get some hose clamps and see if it works. Well, turns out that I'm either blind or we don't have any clamps that are big enough, so I'm just gonna use this zip tie. Alright, that looks pretty good. If it works, we'll glue it together and then paint it, but that's pretty good for now. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna wrap these chains around this bad boy bumper to get some more weight on the front. Bingo. Alright, now that looks pretty tough, I have to say so myself. I think the next thing we have to do is we're going to deflate the rear tires a little bit, and then we're going to have to go test this. Alright, deflated to about 4 psi. Just kidding, I have no idea, but low enough. Deflating, and deflated. All right, good. All right, so I think I got this thing all ready to perform max performance in the snow, maybe. I got the modified intake. I have the tires that are lower on PSI. I got the extra weight in the front. Got the rear tires deflated also. And I think it's ready to try. Yes.
Things gonna go. a couple things. We're gonna put a smaller jet in again because it's still running a little bit too rich. We're also gonna check the spark plug and the needle. We're gonna adjust to make it a little bit leaner.
What about the diff?
And we're gonna weld the diff too, so that way it gives us more two wheels to spin instead of one. So. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to glue it together and paint it probably like matte black so it matches like the bumper and the seat, and then it just looks a lot better than white. And then I'm going to adjust the carburetor, and then I'll probably weld the diff. So it turns out that these are already pretty stuck, so I'm not gonna glue them together. I'm just gonna paint it. Okay, so this is the little needle, and it goes in this piece, like in there.
It just drops in that hole, and then there's a little clip that holds it in place. And so to make it richer, you move it down on the little notches, and to make it leaner, you move it up. So we're gonna make it a little leaner, so we're gonna move it one notch up. Ugh. Okay, so it should be in the middle notch now. Alright. Okay, that was not supposed to happen. Alright, okay, so I got it lined up. Just push it in there. So now it's in the middle notch. Looks a little bent. It'll probably be okay. So now I'm gonna put it back together. Alright, so I got the carburetor all adjusted. So it will probably work better now. And I cleaned the spark plug up, so that should be good. And now I got the back jacked up. I'm gonna take the tires off, drop the transmission, and then take it apart and weld the differential. So. Okay, so I got the transmission out, and I have to pull this pulley off, and I was looking at it, and this axle right here is really loose, and that's not supposed to be like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what the inside of this looks like. And then the one on this side is not loose at all. It's really tight. So I'm going to tear it apart and see what it looks like. Okay, so I got it, cover taken off, it's over there. And then, so what looks like what happened is we welded this once before, but it looks like it just broke the gears and the weld came off. So this time what we're gonna have to do is we're really gonna have to turn the heat up on the welder. And we'll clean it up good before it and see if it works. It's definitely not dangerous. Just kidding, that's very dangerous. Alright, we put the fire out. Okay, so I got the axle, just the axles in the differential out. I got it welded enough that it's not moving at all. And we put some different wire in the welder because we ran out. And it welds splattery stuff better. So, we'll try it again. Okay, so this thing I got welded up. Not sure how well it's gonna fit back in the transmission, but I'll just grind it until it fits. Okay, so I got the transmission all back together and I welded it really good, so it's either going to be a two-wheel peel the entire time or it's basically going to explode. So I'm hoping that it will work, and I'm going to put it back in here and then we're going to test it. Okay, so I got it all put back together, and the only thing is that it doesn't really move. Just kind of skids the tires. Ugh. And yeah, so hopefully it just needs to get loosened up. I'm not sure what yet. Oh, my dad is a light Nazi, so every 15 minutes, if motion isn't detected, and motion detectors don't work that great, then the lights turn off. There we go. So like I was saying, it doesn't roll. So hopefully it just needs to get loosened up. Okay, well, it turns out it does roll because when you try to start it, it rolls it backwards. But I don't want to burn up the starter. And the reason why it rolls it backwards is because I thought the shifter was connected right, but it turns out that I'm pretty sure I didn't get it in the right groove when I put the transmission back together. So that means I had to take all this transmission back out, take it apart, and then put it back together. So yeah. Okay, so I took it apart and aligned the shifter. There's a piece on there that connects to another piece, I guess. And so before it was just smooth the entire time. Now this thing kind of like clicks. There's a click. There's another click. I'll try to put it back. Without rounding off the edges. Whatever. Okay. So I think I fixed it. So now I'm gonna put it back in the motor. Okay, so I got it back together, and the shifter is a little bit harder now, and I think it's probably going to work. So I'm gonna try and start it here. I think I'm gonna need a jump box. Alright, got the jump box on. See if this thing will start now. Well, I think it works. At least it rolls. I'm not sure if what I did to the carburetor worked, but it's dark outside right now, so probably wait to test it. But the welding the diff, it worked, I think, at least in a little bit. I tested it, and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to test it for real though once it gets laid out later, like tomorrow. Alright, so we're gonna go test it, but first I had the battery charger on it, so we'll take this thing off. And then I noticed last time I was driving it that it was it's leaking a little bit of oil. So there's kind of a lot of oil in there, back there. So I'm gonna check the oil too. And it looks like it is really low. So it's supposed to be right there in those hash marks, and it's all the way down there. So also looks like I need to change the oil, but we'll just add some for right now, because if it leaks that much, then all you have to do is keep adding it, and then it's like oil change all the time, you know? So should probably get some. So I got some good old World King oil. So usually use a funnel for this, but that is why I use a funnel. Probably make sure I have this too. Probably want to. So. Okay. Looks like we're gonna need more. I think I managed to get more outside of it. Okay. So it looks like it'll probably be good. Maybe. It's up in the hashes now, so I think that'll probably be good. Now we just gotta push this thing outside and start it up. Alright, time to fire this thing up. Make sure the fuel's on. Alright. Turn the choke on. Oh. Okay, well, let's hope this thing starts back up.
legs, not your back. Oh. Hey, it's actually idle. As a first. Whoa. So, unfortunately, my camera ran out of battery. I have a lot of snow in my boot. Anyway, so I'm not sure how much of driving I just got, but it seems to be working pretty good. For some reason, the clutch doesn't seem to fully disengage. So we'll have to look at that. It does idle for a while, and yeah, it was pretty fun. It's kind of hard to drive, especially because it's super bouncy. And now I'm gonna go take it down to the ice. I may do some donuts and stuff. So see if this will start back up and see how far we can make it down there. This ice is really slippery, and kind of like broke a little bit back here. There's more ice underneath there. That's good. But I'm not sure if this thing has enough traction to do the ice, do donuts and stuff. The front wheels definitely don't, because I tried to turn it and it just kind of kept going straight. So we'll try to see if we can get this thing to go again. little ways, but I think we just need some better tires or something. Don't think it's gonna work. Not enough traction. I can barely enough traction to push this thing. Oh. Oh, that's easier. All right. Bring this thing back up there now. Okay, you're just gonna have to push, I guess. Well, you want a heavier person give you more traction.
I did it stuck right there.
Well, I made it up the hill and I didn't have enough speed. Okay. It's a little dark in here, but it works better than it has been working. Definitely need some better tires, maybe in the front and the back. And we also lost an exhaust bolt in there. You won't be able to see it. So yeah, it works better. Definitely needs some more stuff, but it's pretty good. So I think that's kind of a success. Made it more of a snow rig. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.